And our hair is getting.
No, we're gonna have it on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube, that's what you told me.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Well,
You'll be
thank you.
fine.
I'm just starting to feel good, and I'm thinking, oh, I gotta.
Nelson, get up and move around and walk.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, is getting up and walking.
Finish yet?
Yeah, he was actually
No.
on a way to Australia.
I can hear you.
In the middle of this.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, because I was just.
Attention, we're going to start the beer board meeting.
I was standing in a neighborhood one day and thinking, I just feel like crying. That's just good.
All right, we're going to call the beer board to order for the meeting for August 11th. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Has the board had a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll approve the minutes as written.
Good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Next item is the approval of a Class 1 on-premise other beer permit for Petraeus Tequila y Navarra. Do we have a representative here? Would you please go up to the podium? State your name and your home address, please.
Into the mic. There you go.
My name is Arturo Leon, and my address is 129 Farragut Drive here in Farragut.
Where is your business located?
Here by Kingston Pike, across the street from BB&T Bank.
Okay. Very good. And when do you expect to open?
For 2 months from now,
Okay.
approximately.
Does the board have any questions?
Is all of his information in order?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I'll make the motion to approve a Class 1 on-premise beer permit for Petrillo's at 11151 Kingston Pike, Suite D, subject to obtaining a certificate of occupancy.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes. You have your permit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Any other business for the beer board? All right, if not, the beer board is adjourned.
Give me a minute.
Looks like we have some stouts here too, Ralph.
Yeah. I'm not finding my front page.
They like them to replace the air
Here you go.
conditioning units.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for August 11th. We will, first of all, let me say we have a whole bunch of Boy Scouts, and we have a little trinket to give you for being here. If there are one or two of you who would like to help us say the Pledge of Allegiance, come on down. And first we will rise for a moment for silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance. The approval of the agenda is rather short.
I would like to make a motion, Mayor, that we move, let me just see which number it is.
6F.
6F.
Under business items, item F, if we could move that to the beginning of the meeting, please.
Which part of the meeting, Vice Mayor? Would you like to move it under business items under A? We need to delete item A off the business item list. Approval of reimbursement for road repairs. We'll need to bring it back to you in 2 weeks for that.
Why don't we have
We
that
could
as the
substitute
first
it.
business item then?
Okay?
A second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Here we go. Mayor's report.
As you know, we had an election, and one of our new aldermen is here today. We'll swear you in at the next meeting. And then Ron Williams, stand up there. He's also a new alderman. And he also will be sworn in at our next meeting. And today, this is Vice Mayor LaMarche's last meeting of this board. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Well, first, I just want to thank all of you for coming tonight to the reception. And it's been a real honor and privilege to serve as your alderman and as your vice mayor for the last few years. And I will miss everyone, the staff, the board. And don't worry, I won't be gone. I will be around here watching you. No. I said that I would the museum, and I'll work in the gift shop on the days that he volunteers for that. And so I give my thanks so much to the town of Farragut for my opportunity to serve. Thank you.
By the way, just in case you don't know it, the reason she is leaving is because we have term limits voted on some years ago, and it's now in effect. So that's why she will be leaving, and others in the future. Next item is a citizens forum. All right, so the next item is approval of minutes for the meeting of July 28th.
I have a correction. Under business items, approval of appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. It's on page 4 of the minutes from our last meeting on July 28th. Under moved by Alderman LaMarche, seconded by Alderman Pavlin for appointing Scott Meyer to the 5-year appointment, Jennifer Collins to the 2-year appointment. It says, voting yes, Mayor McGill, Alderman LaMarche, Markley, Pinchot, and Pavlin, no nays, motion passed. I did not vote for that. I would like to raise a point of order here. I think our announcement that there would needed to be a discussion of the who was to be appointed to the 2-year term and who was to be appointed to the full 5-year term. And there was no call for discussion. Alderman LaMarche made a motion straight from the announcement to appoint Mr. Meyer to the 5-year term. Then, without any discussion, it was seconded. There was a call for votes. There was no call for opposing, so there were no nays. I didn't vote. It says it's unanimous, but there were no calls for nays. So I would like to go on record that I was opposed to that. I felt that we had a much more highly qualified candidate and that she should be appointed to the 5-year appointment. And I would like to make an alternate motion that we revisit that and appoint the more highly qualified candidate to the 5-year, to the full term, and Mr. Meyer to the 2-year term. So I am making that motion.
How do we proceed on this?
See if there's a second.
Typically, for a reconsideration, it would take somebody that was from the approving side to bring it up for reconsideration. So if somebody wants to bring that up, that voted for Mr. Meyer for the 5-year term, to bring that up for reconsideration, then certainly you can, and then you need a second on that in order to move that forward.
Do we do that under approving the agenda, or I'm sorry, the minutes at
You're
this
trying to
time?
correct the minutes right
Okay.
now. So if you'd like to try to correct that and have something different for the minutes, then this would be the time to do it.
Well, I made the motion to approve Scott Meyer for 5-year appointment and Jennifer for the 2-year appointment, and I'd like to stand by that motion. I don't, nothing against Mr. Markley's comment, but that it was moved and seconded and passed, and I personally think it should stay that way.
Okay, we do need to correct the vote, though. And as a point of order, I think there should always be a call for discussion, because I certainly had some discussion that I would like to make on that. And there should be, on every vote, there should be a call for nays, just so it's clear.
Then I will make a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So now we move to business items, and have we, we're going to move it up to the F, approval of bill of sale, conveyance deed of gift of monument.
Thank you, Mayor. Trying to find this in my packet. This purpose of this agenda item is to approve a bill of sale and acceptance of a gift for a stone monument that is going to be given to the town of Farragut by Ms. Lyland Fitzgerald. Ms. Fitzgerald, some of you may remember, owns the property where Admiral Farragut was born way back when in the mid-1800s. And so in 1903, there was a stone monument that was dedicated by Admiral Dewey at that site that has been on that site for over 100 years now. She would like to donate that to the town of Farragut and to be used at our pleasure. Most of the time, we wouldn't give you a gift like this to have to approve, but there is a stipulation that she'd like the town to remain the owner of that in perpetuity. So this is why it's coming before the town and for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to approve. And I know Ms. Fitzgerald, I think, is still here. Possibly. Yes, ma'am. All right, great. She is still here, and we're very much appreciative of this gift that she's giving us, and we're ready to certainly take it whenever she is. So with that, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions for the board.
I wonder if she'd like to come forth and say anything.
You want to say anything, Ms. Fitzgerald? We'll have to get you to the podium so we can get you on the big screen.
Yes, ma'am. I just really, really appreciate everyone being so kind and so nice, especially the Lamarches and Hugh Willett and Tom Roseal, who it was his suggestion in the first place that that would be a good home for the monument, and I agree with him. I've spent a lot of time and prayed about it and thought about it, and I just look forward to it being in this town and could not be more pleased. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
for
Thank
your
you so much.
donation. Yes.
Promise we will take good care of it.
Leaving it in place for now. Do we have any plans to move it? What?
We are going to move it as quickly as we can. We'll get it to town property. We don't have a specific place to put it yet, but we will get a committee together and talk about a good location for that. And also, obviously, we want to be able to have it where people can see it, put some signage up around it so you can see the history of what that's all about. But we'll work on that over the next couple of months, but we'll certainly get it as soon as we can.
Well, that stone has had a long and storied history, and we're so happy to have it coming home here. Thank you so much.
I move to approve the bill of sale, conveyance, and deed of gift for acceptance of donation of a stone monument to the town of Farragut.
I'll second it.
Well, all can second it. Yay.
Say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Didn't think so.
That's what we call an
do
overhead.
business items right, and we're going to go
We're going to skip A and go to B.
to B, which is approval of Education Relations Committee Charter revision.
Thanks, Mayor.
Talking down.
The Education Relations Committee by charter meets once a month. The committee feels that with the current workload, they can reach their goals by meeting once every other month. This would require a charter amendment, which is before you tonight. Charter amendment. I can answer any questions you may have about this.
I move to amend the ERC charter to allow an every other month or as needed meeting schedule.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to B, which is approval of, no, that's C, request for variance to Title 16, Chapter 4 driveways and other access, sections 16-406, 1A and B, distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with the site plan for Autumn Care 3, Assisted Living, 400 Heron Road, Autumn Care 3 LLC, Peter Falk, applicant.
This property at the south intersection of Heron Road and North Campbell Station Road had a site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission back last month in July. They're developing a 68-unit assisted living facility on this property. And when the property was built on the property, there was a traffic impact study that was prepared by Cannon and Cannon. And as part of that, it recommended ultimately that the access be off of Heron Road and kind of in the center portion of the property's frontage on Heron Road. Normally, you would want to put the access further away from an intersection, and that's why this variance is before you tonight. But as you get further up on Heron Road, or further north on Heron Road, the sight distance is really bad. It's kind of a curve, and you're coming down the hill. So the traffic engineer recommended that the access be approximately 110 feet east of the Heron Road stop bar there at North Campbell Station Road. This road, Heron Road, is a collector street, and it is required a minimum of 200 feet distance from intersections and between driveways. So since this access is only 110 feet, they're requesting a variance from that distance requirement. When this was presented to the Planning Commission, we talked about an access on North Campbell Station Road. It does have a lot of frontage on North Campbell Station Road, but ultimately the Planning Commission decided to recommend go with the recommendation of the traffic engineer and recommend approval of the variance for the access onto Heron Road. I think the applicant is here if you have any questions of them, but basically that's a summary of. I will say that as part of this site plan, if conditions ever changed in the future, we are platting an access easement to the property to the north, so that if that tract ever transitioned and was purchased by Autumn Care, that an access could be extended to the north, and then you would be able to come out onto Heron Road further up on Heron Road where the sight distance would be much improved.
Just think the property on the north is on the, that would be on the opposite side from where the Autumn Care property is, the opposite side of Heron Road.
Just above it.
Okay, beyond Cottage Creek.
It's
Okay.
about a 1.5 acre
There's a farm
tract.
right here.
Before you reach Cottage Creek subdivision, there's
Cottage Creek Lane, right, adjacent to their
there's an
property.
old home place lot there between this property and Cottage Creek.
There's a farm right here, right in this section.
Oh, it's actually it was part of this property,
I think
right?
so.
Adjacent to it,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Gotcha. So, could you repeat that last part again about,
Access easement?
yeah?
Yeah, as part of the site plan for this project, one of the recommendations from the staff was to plat an access easement. They've got they're going to have a fire apparatus turnaround area on the north part of the parking lot. And what we asked them to do is go ahead and extend to the property to the north so that if in the future, there's some receptive property owner there that would want to have the access extended into their property, or Autumn Care purchased the property, that they would have the ability to access that and to come out onto Heron Road further north to where you're out of that curve and you got much better sight distance.
Okay, thank you. I understand now.
Any more business, or do you have questions,
I have none.
discussion? Do you have anything more you want to say?
No, I'll be happy to answer. I'm Richard LeMay, the engineer for Mr. Falk, who is here with his architect also. Be glad to answer any questions you have, but we're in agreement with the staff recommendation.
Okay.
When do you plan to start construction, sir?
Hopefully within the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
If there aren't any, then I will propose the motion to approve a variance from Title 16, Chapter 4. No, is that the right one?
406, yeah.
Yeah.
Title 16, Chapter 4.
Driveways and other access ways, Section 16-406, 1A and B. Distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with the Heron Road access proposed on the site plan for Autumn Care 3 Assisted Living that was approved by the Planning Commission on July the 21st, 2016.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Next item is a request for variance to Title 16, Chapter 4, Driveways and Other Access Ways, Sections 16-406, 1A and B, distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with Kingston Pike access proposed on a site plan for 11.
At the June Planning Commission meeting, there was a site plan approved for the property there at the west intersection of Kingston Pike and Admiral Road. As part of that site plan, the applicant's proposing two different accesses, one on the Admiral, one on the Kingston Pike. Each access is in need of a variance from the distance from intersection and distance between driveways. In fact, the Kingston Pike frontage of the property doesn't even have the required 400 feet, so there's really nowhere on that frontage that you could put a compliant access without requesting a variance. Basically, this particular, we'll have to vote on these separately. This is dealing with the Kingston Pike proposed access. Kingston Pike's an arterial road on our major road plan, and in the driveways and other access ways ordinance, there's a requirement for the access points to be 400 feet apart on each side of the road and 400 feet from the nearest intersection. The proposed access is 220 feet from Admiral Road. This access is a right-in, right-out on Kingston Pike. It generally lines up with the easternmost access on the south side of Kingston Pike, there at the Aspen Square development, and it's roughly centered between Admiral Road and the access to the Farragut Corporate Center to the west, which this property will actually tie into. When this was presented to the Planning Commission, because it is a right-in, right-out condition, and it, is kind of roughly centered between the access points on the north side of Kingston Pike, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the requested variance for the access to be 220 feet from the intersection of Admiral Road. And I'll answer any questions. The project engineer is also here if you have any specific questions for him.
Maybe I missed something, but why can't this piece of property be connected to the one just west of it?
It will be. This site plan is not the latest. It's just an access plan that was submitted with the original. There will be an access, cross access to the property to the west.
Is there any way we can have just the access to this property moved up to where the other access is for the adjoining property?
Well, that's a question for the applicant. They requested this access and specifically conditioned it on a right-in, right-out, but that's what was approved as part of the site plan by the Planning Commission, but certainly that's something that could be discussed.
Does the right out, and I don't know why I didn't see this in the Planning Commission, does the right out have a lane, like a lane that you can get out onto and then merge into traffic, or does it?
No, ma'am.
It's just going to come right into traffic?
Decel,
But you have a
we don't have-
deceleration lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we generally don't recommend acceleration lanes, but we do pretty much always try to require some sort of deceleration
Okay.
lane so that you get out of the flow of traffic.
Yep.
Well, if you at least slow down, I'm sorry, Chris Sharp, Urban Engineering, 11852 Kingston Pike. That situation forces you to stop and actually look if somebody's coming instead of
Just pulling out and
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I'll eventually
speeding
get
up
in.
and
Yeah.
holding on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will there be any kind of curb or barrier or anything to keep somebody from going in from the
Yes,
other
sir.
way?
There is it's standard, and you see it along, the majority of the length of Kingston Pike. It's a curb and gutter section. It's standard TDOT curb and gutter, and there's a raised island, that divides the right in and the right out.
I've seen so many people ignoring those. I know down at the Weigels near Smith Road, so many people heading east turn left into Weigels and make that sharp turn, and so many times I've been close to seeing an accident, and I hate to see that happen.
I agree, and that was one of the comments early on, if I'm not mistaken, was to sharpen, make it
Right.
more well-defined. So, you can't, I drive a truck, I can drive over the thing, but, you can't completely prevent somebody from going the wrong way, but you can discourage it.
I don't think this site plan reflects that either. It's more of an abrupt turning movement, so it discourages you more from trying to make that type of.
But that's always a concern. You can't completely eliminate it, but you can discourage it.
Well, to make a left out of there, you can still go out onto Admiral Road and make a left there at the intersection, so
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
It's a good question, though. But they are tying into that parking lot to the west.
That property just west of it, can you make a left turn out of there?
It's a full access.
It is full
Yeah,
access.
it's full access. Yep.
And they are going to connect in the future. That's my understanding.
As part of this,
That's right.
that is an outdated diagram.
Yeah.
I have one more question. It's 140 feet from Kingston Pike to the entry on Admiral Road. Is that a variance too? That should be 200
That's
feet.
gonna be
That's the
next one on
second,
it.
yes, sir.
That'll
Okay.
be the next one, yeah.
So this is specifically for the right in, right out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
I have no more questions.
I have no more.
Do we have
I move to approve a variance from Title 16, Chapter 4, Driveways and Other Access Ways, Section 16-406, 1A and B, distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with the Kingston Pike access proposed on the site plan for the Premier Eye Care at 11111 Kingston Pike that was approved by the Planning Commission on June 16, 2016.
Second.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Next item is request for a variance to Title 16, Chapter 4, Driveways and Other Access Ways, Section 16-406, 1A and B, distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with the Admiral Road access proposed on the site plan for the Premier Eye Care 11111 Kingston Pike Urban Engineering applicant.
Okay, this item is related to the other proposed access on the Admiral Road. Admiral Road is a collector street, and it does require a 200-foot distance from intersection to access point, 200 feet between access points as well. This access was presented to the Planning Commission, and the reason that they're requesting 140 feet instead of meeting the 200 feet is because of the Turkey Creek floodplain on the north part of the property.
Okay.
And it starts to drop off, and it's just, you just get into more issues as you get closer to the floodplain. And that was the rationale for the variance request, was due to the proximity to Turkey Creek and topographic reasons. We did talk with Chris about stacking and someone turning in off of Kingston Pike, and whether he was comfortable about that not creating any conflicts turning in to the project, and I don't believe you had any concerns with that.
I don't.
This was also recommended favorably by the Planning Commission, and the staff recommends approval of this variance for topographic and reasons and proximity to Turkey Creek.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. Do we, I know that we have a almost identical situation at the Weigels at Smith Road and Kingston Pike. I would guess that the traffic count at Smith Road and Kingston Pike is orders of magnitude higher than it is here. But do we have the planning flow is there? Do we have any
But
idea?
that there was a traffic study done. Was there a
Not as
traffic-
part of this project. I have a whole lot more trips generated than this use. You know, it's more of an office, professional office related.
Right.
And I anticipate probably the majority of the traffic coming in off of Kingston Pike.
Okay. Well, that answers all my questions.
Any more discussion?
I have none.
There a motion?
A variance from Title 16, Chapter 4, Driveways and Other Access Ways, Section 16-406, 1A and B, distance from intersections and distance between driveways associated with the Admiral Road access proposed on the site plan for the Premier Eye Care at 11111 Kingston Pike that was approved by the Planning Commission on June 16, 2016.
Second.
I'll second too.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is,
Thank you.
this is an ordinance, a second reading, ordinance 16-20, an ordinance to amend Chapter 3, specific district regulations, Section 9, attached single-family residential district R4, subsection D1B, to amend the front yard setbacks provisions when garages are rear-loaded and do not face the street, and when no additional parking spaces are provided in the front of the dwelling unit. Benchmark Associates Incorporated applicant. And before we get in this, I have a statement to make, and that is After the action of this matter on our last meeting, calling into question my integrity and character. As a result, therefore, I will recuse myself from this discussion or action, any discussion or action over at this time.
Okay. Mark, are you going
Okay,
to
yeah.
go ahead with it?
Sorry. No. Yeah, just real brief, since we kind of went through this last time. R4 is our attached single-family zoning district. It has really very different setbacks than you would have in like a traditional detached residential development. It has a different look and feel to it. And it has more flexibility in where you place the building in relation to the street, because really a goal of the R4 is to try to engage the building with the street. So in R4, we try to encourage rear-loaded and allow for the building in those type scenarios to be brought up closer to the street, so that you're looking at a nice-looking building from the street rather than a garage door or a driveway. So what this doing is expanding that flexibility in the R4 to allow an applicant, if they so desired, to have an extended covered front porch to be brought in closer to the engagement or opportunity for engagement. If you walk through some of these R4 developments, you'll see most of them have nice front porches. Front porches historically have been an area where people have conversation, neighbors, people walking through the development, whatever. So what they're requesting specifically in this case does not affect the main building placement. It's just for the covered porch portion. And that would be to allow that to come to within 10 feet of the street. The building still has to be 15 feet from the street. And the other conditions in there was that the porch could not interfere with any landscaping or utilities or pedestrian facilities. When this was presented to the Planning Commission at their meeting in July, it was unanimously recommended for approval. It was also approved unanimously on first reading when this was considered 2 weeks ago, and the staff recommends approval on second reading.
Any changes since the first reading?
There have been no changes.
Any discussion on the matter?
I have none.
I have none.
Then do I hear a motion to approve this on second reading?
I move that we approve ordinance 1620, an ordinance to amend Chapter 3, Specific District Regulations, Section 9, attached single-family residential district, R4, subsection D1B, to amend the front yard setback provisions when garages are rear-loaded and do not face the street, and when no additional parking spaces are provided in front.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Ralph was going to, yeah.
The next item is ordinance 16-21, ordinance to amend ordinance 1611 fiscal year 2017 budget state street aid fund.
Yes, sir. This ordinance is the same as the first reading. There have no changes have been made. The State Street Aid Fund will be amended by increasing the appropriated expenditures from $688,000 to $1.9054. It's an increase of $321,000. The motion is to approve ordinance 16-21 on second and final reading.
No changes.
No, ma'am.
Any discussion?
I have no.
16-21 on second and final reading.
Second.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? To the town administrator report.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things to report tonight. One is this weekend we've got Fun with Farragut's Fleet this Saturday at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. That's going to be from 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock. It's a great event for kids. Come out and look at any kind of major piece of equipment they want to check out. So should be a fun event for that morning. And then also next Wednesday, we're going to start our next Intro to Farragut class on Wednesday at 6 p.m. here at Town Hall. And certainly hope the board can make it for a few minutes to meet our new class, and we'll go over introductions and just have a kind of a breaking the ice class for that first one. So we're looking forward to getting them through this fall. And finally, I'd just like to say on behalf of the staff, we certainly want to thank Vice Mayor LaMarche for her service to our town and just being so supportive of us. Been a great support to me as well as all of our employees, and come to our employee events, and they definitely take notice of that. So we just appreciate all your support over the years, Vice Mayor.
I'm going to miss you guys.
Well, you're not going anywhere.
No.
Is this the largest class we've got for Intro to Farragut?
This is the largest class. Yeah, we've got 18 signed up so far. So that's pretty much at our max limit right there.
Yeah.
It's really good.
One last thing, lawn chair series is this Friday.
I always forget those other
Fun
things.
time, great time with your family. It really is an awesome event. It's at Founders Park, so it starts at 6, correct?
It's Friday night at Founders Park.
The
golf tournament. You
I heard a
forgot
rumor
that.
the Rolling Stones are playing.
Well, if that happened, we don't have a space big enough for the crowd that's going to show up.
No.
So it'll be a good event, though, and a lot of folks will be there for sure.
You forgot Ralph said the golf tournament.
Golf.
That right, too, Mayor. The golf tournament's going to be next week from Thursday until next Sunday. There's a lot of other events going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but the professional golfers will be out there on Monday and getting practice in and things like that. But Thursday starts the actual tournament. Certainly we look forward to that. They've already got all the equipment just about ready to go out there. So parking for the public will be on Smith Road again at the field. And so that'll be another spot for you to park. It's $5 to park, and then they'll bus everyone over to the Foxton Country Club in order to get into the event.
And we're expecting 40,000 people, right?
I think last year they had 35 to 40 right in there. They've had some really big crowds these last couple of years. It's all weather dependent, so hopefully we'll get some good weather this year and have some great crowds.
If there is no other discussion, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Louise, in my mind, you had made that motion to